Love, light, greetings, gratitude and blessings, Ascension Starseeds. My divinity to yours. Welcome. I thank you for your love, light and support, for your hearted comments, your appreciation, your participation. Above all, I thank you for our collective unite in light. Thank you for all your blessings over our planet during the most difficult and challenging times. This year has proven unprecedented and has caused a lot of chaos, unhappiness, discomfort, and challenges for people across the world. But our love light is harmonizing and soothing and calming and relaxing the collective so that we may propel forward progressively into the ascension as we close the year. In a few days, we will enter a brand new year filled with a greater sense of hope and faith and trust in the divine, and that everything that is unfolding will be as and according to the divine plan. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Spirit of light, Mother, Father, Creator, Immaculate, Articulate, Supreme and Sovereign, welcome. We invite, invoke your energy, essence and presence to grace us with your embrace as we connect and protect in your love light, in your stellar energy, in your divine synergy, bringing us together in unity, in humanity, community. Protect us, love us, and bring fairness, equality, and justice. Your intervention, your interception, your protection for heaven on earth. And so it is. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I am reading on 14/12/2024. Our collective vibration is 7. 7 connects with the crown chakra of higher consciousness, awareness, enlightenment, divinity, spirituality, the cosmos, the galaxy, the multiverses, the divine awakening of self as the collective awakening of the planet. 7 is about magic and miracles, manifestation, being able to create within, having the tools of the inner self that you are able to externalize into physical matter, physical form. And the 7 resonates with the chariot and the major tarot, the vibrations of progression, of steering, of advancement, of being in control, of making different changes in your direction, your path, and of course doing that with harmony, with higher understanding, with clarity of mind, combined with the crown chakra, moving into the righteous path, into a better direction, into the harmonics of the mapping of your contract, of the soul, the tree of life. All of that is directional, cardinal, and I would say magical, because the path you choose should be of a higher consciousness, and the higher consciousness brings about the magic of direction, the magic of your soul path, the magic of your true path. So beautiful ones, reading today on the 3 Wales's children, the children of Prince William and Catherine, Princess of Wales, Prince George, Princess Charlotte and Prince Louis. We have recently saw the children at the Christmas Carol concert, and I know you've been asking for a reading. The concert took place on the 6th of December, but none of the children appeared very jolly, given that this would be a very happy occasion. Right from the clips that I have seen, they did not appear very happy, very jolly, very children-like to be at an event like this. They entered with their father, whilst their mother was already inside or arrived much earlier, in very high spirits. She was happy, smiley, very chatty, extremely conversational. And that's not a bad thing. It is a very good thing. But when you have the three children that arrive with their father and appear to look very distant and withdrawn, showing signs of sadness or unhappiness or loneliness, although they're with their parents, it's extremely telling. Perhaps I'm reading too much into it, but I know from some of your comments you've also made very similar observation. Yes, of course, we did see a smile or a smirk or two here and there, but that does not explain the lack of the overall, not just the individual excitement on their faces, but the collective of the children showed the total opposite of anything but happy, right? What I also noticed is repetition of clothing, and also the seeming appearance of them having outgrown the clothing that they were wearing. But Prince George's jacket appeared much shorter to me. He just stared at his mother, very similar to the awe or the unbelievableness of him doing that at the trooping, you know, when he was on the balcony looking at her while she was talking and very chatty. And his expression was so similar to that. And it's as if he can't believe how real she may look, or what is she saying. It's unbelievable, you know. And then Charlotte looks so disinterested in everything. As much George looked disturbed and anxious, and Charlotte's coat, I noticed as well, was a repetition from a previous year. She doesn't seem to have grown very much, or is it the illusion of the coat that makes her a little bit more shorter than she would look, I would assume, or have anticipated that she would look a little bit more mature and taller and, you know, much like a little lady. But she looked very childlike to me. And what I did notice distinctly was the part where her mother touched her hair as they walked to the end and making their way into the hall. Charlotte just very agitatedly sort of shrugged it off and looked up, but you get to see it from behind, it's not from the face. And as for little Louis, he seemed so lost, so distant, so withdrawn, and possibly sedated. He carried this little red tag, all the children did, but there was a glimpse of his message that you could find on the internet, saying that he was thanking his grandparents for playing games with him. And I'm very certain that this would be the Middleton grandparents. And he also was wearing a jacket that looked much smaller, because he was tugging at it, pulling at it, trying to set it on his body. His trousers were very long. I noticed all the pleating, the folding, perhaps a hand-me-down from George. It seemed like none of the children's clothing were tailor-made for the occasion, and having a comeback like this, you would expect them all to be looking incredibly gorgeous in their outfits. And I'm not saying that recycling is not good, but especially this year, from all that's happened, having an incredible amount of absence of them and the mother, so to speak, in quotation, you would think they would all look very smart in wearing clothes from especially made for this occasion. You know, Kate herself had worn the red coat from 2002. The tartan's skirt or dress that she wore could have been the very same one that she also wore before. And I think that if she was directly involved in the grooming of the children or preparing for this event, that she would have paid a lot of attention to the details of their appearance, their clothing. But the children lacked explicitly on their face, so expressively, the love, the tender loving care, and the parental attention. You could see that from the time they entered through the walk that they did, greeting others. It was just superficial. It was so fictitious, and nothing seemed real, as if it was just faked and caked upon them. And that's what they had to do, you know, go through all of that, grinding their teeth, so to speak, very straight-faced. And honestly, it broke my heart to watch that. And I had to repeat the watching for that event, just to make sure that I was taking in what I was feeling correctly. And that is why it has taken me a while to actually do this reading, because every time I thought of it, it just ached in my heart that these children are so pained and they're suffering silently and amongst themselves. You know, Charlotte, who's usually very close to her mother at events like this or by her side, was very distant and leaned more to William. And then Louis, who was always all over his mother and being told to settle down and be quiet, he was almost on mute, you know, kind of in a freeze mode, pain written all over his face. George just seemingly tagged along like, you know, we've just got to do what we need to do. It's been so rehearsed and sort of profoundly placed upon them, this burden upon them, that they have no choice but to go ahead with it. So from the children's expression, their face, their emotions, their body language, their demeanor, it is something you cannot brush off or discount as a bad day that they were having, or, you know, it wasn't just, it was one of those occasions. Not at all. You can see how clearly they're expressing their grief, their sorrow, their unhappiness, their discontentment, contentment about all of that is happening. And of course, you see William. He too had tried many a times to mask what was going on, but you can't hide it. It's there. It's hidden behind the beard. It's in his body language. It's in his facial expression. Apart from shaking the hands and greeting people, you can see that he's tense and stressed and very nervous and unrested and unsettled, and totally wanting to just get on and over with this. All of these rehearsals and staging that's going on is more of an assault on these little innocent children. I find it extremely merciless. And this is by far worse than I would think of William and Harry as boys walking behind their mother's, Diana's coffin. This to me is just heartlessness and mockery of what's going on. And of course, those of us that have our eyes, that have our vision and our intuition peeled, we can see through the farce, through the fake, through all of the falseness and the fiction that's going on. And of course, the children tell no lies in what they are expressing mentally, emotionally, facially, physically in their body. And all we can do is just keep on praying. So today we are reading on the three children. I have 3 decks, and I have an extra one for what Catherine's spirit or soul would like to say. So Spirit of Light, Mother, Father, Creator, please come through and bring us clarity, understanding, information on these beautiful children, beginning with George. At the bottom we have the 9 of Pentacles, which again is Catherine's vibration energy of his mother. And you would want them to be this happy, playful family. That's what he's feeling, right? Can I just be myself? Can we just have our family? That's the Death card. Lord of Shadows, that's the death. Right. Death as in physical death in this case, or an absolute ending, a darkness that's overcome them. That nothing is the same. Everything is distant. It's far away. It's misty. It's hazy. the Knight of Swords, riding life on the darkness, the direction of darkness, or trying to be brave, trying to be myself. That's what he wants to do, is just be himself. But he's sitting on this energy that is a foundation that's not getting him to the place that he wants to be. Let's do one more. The Three of Swords. That's the three children going through the mental, emotional state of heartbreak and challenges and difficulty and sadness. And he knows, they all do. And behind that, I couldn't help but see the Seven of Swords. That's the deception, right? That is what is happening right now. So tell us, the reading is open for everything we need to know about what little George is dealing with and going through. Explicitly, transparently, can you show us what is going through George? The Two of Pentacles and the Queen of Pentacles. It's a balancing act of life. And the Queen of Pentacles is Catherine. He wants his mother. That's what he's trying to balance in life right now, is living with and without her. With her is in heart, in memory, in thought, in emotion, in life's experiences thus far. But the other part of the balancing is the absence thereof, and having to deal with all of this illusion, this fakeness and falseness, the deception. What? He longs for his mother. That's what he wants. And who wouldn't? Five of Wands, it's a battle. It's a fight. It is stressful. It's constantly conflicting him. And he's having to fight with the outside world and vent it. He's got to fight with his inner self as well, his thoughts, and question what is going on. It's too much of everything having to deal with. It's like the branches of the tree that I'm shown. The same tree, but too many directions, too many things. Nothing seems to be straight and forward and onward and clear. There's too many changes to the same energy, too much of changes to the same woman. Why is this being projected in so many different directions? Can it not just be one point of focus? So constantly having to deal with what is happening, what is going on. That is the conflict, the fight, the battle that he's dealing with right now. And he himself is going through a lot of personal challenges, being the heir, the crowned prince, right? The future heir. What did he think about what was happening at the Christmas Carol night? How did he feel about all of that? Explain to us, or give us, what was he feeling or thinking about that? Looking at Catherine or Kate, or in awe, you know, observing her so closely and watching her movement. We have the Chariot, the Six of Swords, and the Five of Swords. He's got to hold the fort. as the centerpiece between the two siblings. As you can see, he's got to make sure that he is grounded in which to steer this forward. He has to set the example. That is leaving after the war. There's the war, the fight, the death, the ending, the win at all cost. He's got to move forward with it, right? So it's showing in the opposite direction, because ideally that's you at war, you win, you leave, and you take on the direction, but it's the other way around. So it's very confusing, this back and forth, changing direction. Right, for that day, he had to just be who he needed to be and show the world that this is the future. Here I am, presenting myself with my two siblings. I've got to be anchored and grounded. But he knows that he's far from that. He doesn't want to do that. Right? He wants to get away from it because he knows what the war is. He knows what this is about. Following instruction. Right, the sword is pointed to him. His heart aches. His heart breaks. Of a war that's already taken place, but he's got to move on from it. And he's fighting this inner war. And he's going through a great deal of sadness. We know that from previous readings. And we don't get to see much of him. But when you do, you see it in his face. He is tormented and tortured in his expression. And if George had to tell us something now, what would he say? The Tower. And we saw the entire first part of the deck fall. So here's the Tower. There's the Three of Swords and the Seven of Swords again. Right, there's the secrets. He could want to tell us all the secrets. Right. As the child, he knows what's happening. So if I had to take all these cards, all the swords, that's his mental state. He is mentally stressed and tense and confused and besides who he's supposed to be. Right? His world feels like it's crashing, it's falling down, it's falling apart. And we see that here with the deck. I picked it up as it is. We have the Hermit that's crossing the deck. The only card that's crossing all the vertical cards. That's the truth that's being hidden in the cave of his mind, his body, his spirit, his heart, that he wants out. This is him in despair, not knowing. The Magician, right? You can see that's the Devil card. The strength to fight the devil. The Nine of Swords, the mental activity that plagues him. Right, this is what he's going through. So he is, besides who he's meant to be, who he should be at this age. Thank you. Let's move on to Charlotte. This little girl is still looking up and praying and wishing on the stars and having communion with the divine, holding this burden in her hand and trying to be strong, trying to rise above it, trying to put the sadness aside and wish upon the light, the moon, the night, praying in communion with something beyond this world. Being imprisoned, restricted and confined from expressing who she is It is written all over her as the tattoo is expressing. She's going through the positive and the negative, having to mature behind bars, unlike who she's meant to be, also imprisoned, restricted, dictated, having to negotiate, to follow instruction, to separate, to divide, to stay away and keep away. The Empress, she will grow up to be this beautiful Empress, but for now she longs for the Empress that is meant to be in her life, her mother. And that is the truth, because the world doesn't see what she sees and doesn't know what she sees and knows. Show us Charlotte's energy, please, and how she's thinking and feeling at this time. We have the Six of Wands that falls out. That is her going out into the world to win, to make it right, to change perspective and direction. That is what she's putting forth, and with the globe in her hand, that is what her future will be. That's what she's living with at this time. That is what her aim is. To win something in the end, to show the victory. Right, show us a little bit more. We have the King of Wands. This is her ambition. She wants to do something right. She wants to make something right, and she will. That's her maturing into this woman one day. From a little girl setting out to be a winner. She has it in her mind and her head that I need to make something right. I need to put it right. So we're waiting for her to grow up a little bit more. So tell us about the event. How did her heart play out for that event? But we have the Page of Swords. Her mental strength is undeniable as a young child, as a little girl. She is far beyond her years, and I've said that many times, very graduated beyond her years. Her wisdom is within her, and she will rise. She will rise. Both the first and the third card show you her rising above the ground, giving new life to something. So that day, she was dispersed. Her thoughts were dispersed. She was disinterested with what was happening at ground level. She rose above ground level, disinterested in the event and what was taking place. Her thoughts, she diverted her thoughts, her mind, her consciousness somewhere else. She was not paying attention to what was happening. She found it within herself to levitate her mind, her consciousness, and her being to a higher level that would not bring her to tears. So it's like us that hold an affirmation of strength and faith and courage, though we might be going through a crisis. So she is mastering a technique like that. And it could be possibly from reading, her imagination, and triggering her subconscious, her innate Akashic, to take her to that level, to bring her to the wisdom of knowing that what is, you can't change it, but I need to help improve myself so I can be stronger and grow into this powerful woman. And there's fire in her, there's passion in her, There's a purpose in her to achieve this. How did she feel when her hair was being touched or she was being touched? Why was she so agitated? Six of Cups, the past. She's reflecting on the past, the memories, the times before. If she could tell us what she needs to tell us right now about that particular event, what would she tell us? Five of Swords in reverse. That's the upright. The struggle, the battle, the conflict, the war. She would hope to end that. Struggle, battle, and war. Because it was an unprepared time. It was a sudden defeat. She doesn't want to go into that state anymore. She wants that reversed, to take it away. And she wished she could bring back the past. And she prays at night. She prays all the time, holding this burden in her hand. Any other message from Charlotte? Right, so look at that. We also have the Magician at the bottom of this deck, which is if they could magically recreate a scenario. We have the Tower that fell out on my right hand side, which I did not see, and I see it now. So here's a Tower. The Queen of Cups is her grandmother. The guidance of her grandmother watching over her at this time, Diana. The King of Cups. In this case, is not a father throne yet, but that is him. Diana's son, William. And you can see that she's not very happy with William. She doesn't look at him. William's energy is in a dark space. His consciousness is blackened, is darkened. And she turns the other way. She sits on the clam that gives you that beautiful pearl of life. But he's not bringing that forward. The Four of Swords. That's Charlotte, daydreaming, imaginative, hoping, praying, wishing to be somewhere else. And we see that with her constantly wanting to raise her vibration to another place. We have three major cards here. Justice, her prayer for justice. So when she grows up, is that what her aim is? To bring the balancing and the justice for what's happened, right? This is the Judgment. Will she bring out the truth one day? Will she be able to voice it all? That's what she calls for, justice, and we have the Tower. And all of this goes together. This is destructive. We have two towers here already. Are the children creating a pact within themselves, or at least the two older ones? to bring this tower down. Someday, one day, Charlotte means business, I can tell you that. We've got to pray for all of them. And pray so much that she will avenge what needs to be. Because she is very determined. She's very determined. And this is a big deal. These three cards are a big deal. Because that's how she's feeling right now. And that's what her heart is setting her to do. That when I grow up and I graduate, I'm old enough, and I will have the power, the will, the freedom, the maturity to do what I need to do, because I know what it is. And little Louis, Queen of Earth, Queen of Pentacles, his mother, right? Four of Cups, distraction, discontentment, self-absorption, withdrawn, separation of emotions from the world, right? Lack of certainty, clarity, transparency, disconnected, suffering, internal suffering. Ten of Wands. That's the happy family he wants. This is very stressful for him. This is how we find himself, that he's got things to do or been given tasks, given things to occupy himself, but he can't get on with it because this is what he wants. He wants his family, right? He wants the family he knew. He wants the life he knew. Tell us about Louis, please. The dreamer, the fool, the innocent one, the victim. That's his energy right now. He just goes with whatever he's told to do. He's lost. He's trying to find himself. Queen of Air, the Queen of Swords. He needs the backing of a maternal energy that will guide his mental state of being, that will balance him and encourage him and tutor him. That's what he's needing to get past the dream state, the despair, and to motivate his mind to be able to use the tools of life to create that magic, to move to number one from the zero, from the start, from the point of nothing into that direction of something, right? But he's quite imaginative. He's free. He's got a clean plate in front, or palette in front of him to draw and paint and do what he needs to do. But he needs the direction and the guidance, and not just chase the butterfly across the field. He can't do that forever. It is temporary. So whatever he's going through is temporary, and relieving him temporarily. He's got to forge his path, and he will. But he needs that divine feminine support. He still needs the mother, the nurturing, the tender loving care, the comforting arms, the soft voice, the storytelling, the warm soup. You get where I'm going with this. To tell us a little bit more about Louis. 5 of Earth, 5 of Pentacles, 9 of Earth. Right, the 5 of Earth is the 5 of Pentacles. He's lost. He doesn't feel part of the family anymore. He doesn't feel whole again. That's why we saw the 10 of Pentacles. That's what he wants. He wants to feel whole again. He wants this 9 of Earth energy. That's the mother's energy. That comfort and sustenance and luxury of mind and body, heart and spirit. The nurturing energy, the wholesome energy, the fullness. Here he feels outside of himself, left out, abandoned, not feeling enough, having enough, being enough, not being told enough. He's too small to know this, to hear this, to play with this or do that. Always being cast out of the greater group, isolated, lonely. And that's what he wants to feel. These are all the underlying issues that he has to deal with. Very emotionally, mentally confrontational. So what did he think about the Christmas Carol concert? How did he feel? What was he feeling, thinking? 9 of Cups. Usually a dream, a wish, a happiness. It was like a dream for him. It would have brought him happiness. And it was a great amount of wishes. And what did he do? He was wearing glasses, meaning looking through different pair of eyes. And also blowing out a dandelion and dispersing his thoughts far away from where he was meant to be. He was in a field of his own happiness, his own wish, his own thoughts. In a lost, physically lost space and environment, a surrounding, lonely within the crowd, but finding his own sense of peace and stillness in his mind, completely and far away. That's where he was, trying to make sense of it in his own mind, his emotions. And possibly being told, do this for your mom. Let's make this happy for her. We've got to pretend. Well, that's not the real vibration. That is an imaginative vibration. Tell us what is real, right? That's what Spirit is saying. It was imaginative, right? It was him having to compromise, to have self-control that day, to balance himself out and just go out there and make it work. That's what he had to do, and that's what we're showing here. He was in a field, alone, his imagination, making himself busy in his mind and his thoughts, in his emotions, in his heart, and to just make it work. If he had to tell us something now, what would he tell us about that event? How did he actually feel in reality? What was going on? What was he dealing with? Page of Fire. right, a youngster. He had to go there and be on fire, be alive, showing himself being enthusiastic, motivated. He had to pretend. What's interesting is the feather. Right, there's the feather. There's the feather. He was between worlds, on the earthly plane and the spiritual plane. He was somewhere else. But he had to go and present himself. See, this is all staging. He had to go and present himself. Tell us about his little note that he wrote. The tag, 10 of air, and judgment, 10 of swords. It was painful, very painful. It was an attack on his entire mind, an ending, a sadness. And judgment. He's reflecting on what he's going through, what he's dealing with. Right? His judgment, his peace, his sense of stability and capability of life is depending on everything external at the moment. Because if he's left alone, he's besides himself. He goes into the 10 of swords energy, the attack energy, the anguish, he knows of the betrayal, he knows of the loss, the crisis, what's critical, what is what he's dealing with on every level. I'm trying to make this as harmonious as possible. His depression, it's overwhelming. He's got an overactive mind that is assaulting him, abusing him, and he finds comfort in playing games or being distracted, and he's ever so thankful of the grandparents playing for. It's like he births new at that time. It's a different child, it's a different energy. He's a different person, a different self. The star. Right, it gives him that fulfillment. It gives him that hope and encouragement. He feels loved and he feels whole again. Right, the grandparents inspire him and give him that little bit to go on a little bit more. So whatever time he spends with them or joy he finds in that, it gives him the fuel to go a little bit further. It's bringing him back to life. It's giving him life again. And a sense of knowing that he's loved and special and can be treated and spoiled. And he's chosen. You know, if he makes a little bit of mischief, he will be pardoned. That's what I'm feeling here. Anything else from little Louis? We have the 8 of Swords. The 8 of Swords is his limitation, being tied up, bound, restricted and prohibited, and not being able to move through life the way he intended to, or should have, or should be. Right, a very isolating energy, not being able to make his choices and decisions like he would have in under normal circumstances. So he's feeling very imprisoned and left out. There's a line you can't cross. You can't go further than that. There's no curfew, or that's your curfew. You've got to accept it. He doesn't have a say in it. Right, so he doesn't have that freedom and free will. King of Fire. Wow, we have the Tower again. King of Fire. This is an ambitious man. It's a King of Wands, somebody that will make a good businessman in future. So could this be what he will do? Painting the leaves red, or the leaves are red, which is uncommon. So will he be doing unique and special things, changing something? He is a very creative child, very imaginative child. And perhaps all of this might birth or trigger his unique abilities that will not be ordinary but extraordinary. Very inspirational, motivational, sort of euphoric and epiphany. He will have heightened intuition and creative ability, the creative arts, the intuitive ability. Well, of course, it is quite a transformational time. This is the Tower. Right, going through the changes, the challenges, the difficulties. And it's a matter of time. The Towers in all three of the children's spreads here. Seven of Water. The illusion. Right, the lack of transparency and lack of clarity. Having to go through so many things that are put in front of you and not knowing which to go with. There's too much being presented to a little boy, and it's confusing him. And you've got the Six of Cups. Right, that's childhood memories. That's going back, wanting to have his life again. So that's what he's wishing. See the feather again. And that's where his imagination is. Can we please go back to being who we were? Can I go back to returning to be my free, childish, childlike, mischievous little boy self? And that's what he's doing. So if any good comes out of this, it would be for the children's imaginative abilities, capabilities, for that to become more elastic and expanded, to be more creative, and to find the themes of spirit through color and sound and art and music, to comfort and provide that cushioning and compassion that they need through this incredible tower they are dealing with in their life that will not go away. It will never go away. They will constantly go through those towers in life, because that is what is already in their memory, their experience as children. And they will always be faced with as many choices and options and things put forward for them to choose, to decide. And it will always take them back through the memories of their childhood and what once was, the once upon a time. Right, this is from Catherine. This is her spirit, please. Five of Swords. She's showing us that it's ended, it's over, it's done and finished. Five of Cups, wow. That is the mourning, the sorrow, the grief, that she knows what the children are going through. Page of coins, that's George. And it actually fell on George's spread. This is him having to carry the weight and the burden that is worrying her very much. We have another 5, look at that. That is the conflict and battle. So she's summing up the reading of how the children are fighting their way in life, through life, within themselves, their psychology, their emotions, their mental state of being, with their external world. Right, they are struggling and fighting and battling through it. It's very challenging and conflicting. And here we have the Chariot, which is our vibration today, and how it is that they're trying to get out of this cold, this storm, the winter of their life will not go away. Let's do one more. The Lovers. This is what it needs to change to, right? From the sadness into a love state. But this could mean something else too. That's the love she gives them. She sends to them, but that's love on a different level here, I'm being told. They're not getting the parental love that they're supposed to be getting. Right, Catherine talks about a different kind of love that's in the picture here. So tell us, the soul of Catherine's, divine spirit of Catherine, what would you like to say? Give us your very general feel of what's going on right now with the children. Judgment. So she brings it forth as well. The call for judgment, the call for balancing, the call for truth, the call for the dark to light. Give us a message for George, please, Catherine. A message for George. The Two of Wands and the Emperor energy. Right, he is juggling life as we see. Two of Pentacles, we already said he's juggling, trying to find balance. He is having to be groomed for the world to present himself, but he's still a child and he's under pressure by the council, the crown, the emperor, the king, the higher ups, the powers of that are there trying to groom him at the same time. But he is going to rule one day. He's going to rule one day. He's going to have words spoken to him, things being taught, being pressured. She is showing us what he's dealing with at this time. So he's juggling life as a little boy to become a man soon. A message, please, for Charlotte. There's a card that flipped. The Devil. Well, it doesn't look like someone favors Charlotte very much, wherever she is. So she needs protection from the darkness, because there's a potential this girl has for the future. She needs to be protected. So please, we all must rally together to protect her, to protect all of the children. I've done a reading already on the collective protection of the royal children. You will find it on playlist 2. We've done that months ago. If you would join to do that and hold them in light, she will be a threat. She will be a threat. She is a threat. And I noticed months ago there was a hashtag Princess Charlotte, and that's been taken away from YouTube. You just find one that says Charlotte, but I know I used it before and then it was gone. I think that happened sometime April or May. And that worries me. What else? Five of Swords. You see, Charlotte knows the truth. Charlotte knows the truth and she's venting. And this is the problem. She's a threat. So she's being watched constantly, monitored constantly, because that's what she talks about. She doesn't agree with what's happening. She doesn't want to relive this energy the way it's being played out. And before I could even ask, we have the Six of Swords, right? And we've seen this already play out, the 6 and the 5. Now we have the 5 and the 6 showing us the mirror effect of that. She wants to move past that. She wants it to stop. Stop this nonsense. I don't want it anymore. Why do we have to keep doing this? And we have the King of Cups that fell out. So she's telling her father and the king even, you know, it's an older man, but the father's close to her, or telling both of them, stop it. They keep engineering this, putting this forth. Can we move to Louis, please? What do you have to say about Louis? We have the 8 of Wands. Things are moving too fast for Louis, or will be moving too fast for Louis. But he cannot cope with that. He's being propelled forward to also grow up. See, he cannot be a child that he wants to be. He's being pushed forward. To do what? Show us more. What is the 8 of Wands about for Louis? Wow. All right, so we have the institution is pushing Louis forward. But he's also got to mature and grow up and get over the past. Stop being a little boy. There's no time for that. Face down in the reverse is the 3 of Coins. Right, there's no more time for playing with your siblings in a group. There's no time for grouping, networking, playing games. Time is over. Things have changed. So his trajectory of growing up as a little boy has changed. And that explains why we've seen already the King of Wands. See, he's got to grow up. He's got to mature. And what flew out in reverse is the 9 of Swords. Right, so that's how he feels. The agony, the pain, all of the mental debate and chatter, and the questioning. They don't like the questioning. So all of that must stop. Stop it. Put it out of your head. Get it out of your head. See, so with Louis having reverse cards, there's no time to play. There's no time to bond with siblings. There's no time to complain and to whine. Get over it. Right? These are the instructions that are coming now in. You're a grown up now. You're not a little boy. Get over with it. See? Follow George. You are going to be like George one day, so start preparing yourself. Catherine, how did you feel about what happened at the Carol night? Your spirit, your soul, show us, tell us. Right, there she is. If you were doubting, here she is. Queen of Coins. The 3 of Cups, I'm not sure why I put that back in, but I did get to see it. Right, so I want to take it out. She says, take it out. it was just sort of automatic that I continued to shuffle. Usually I'd pick it out. Well, it's here somewhere. But what she's saying is her 3 children. Those 3 of cups were her 3 children. Goodness, please let me find it. There we go. This was her spirit with her 3 children, looking down on her 3 children. From the spirit world. Right, from the spirit world. Aching and crying for her 3 children, wanting, reliving that memory that was there. That was what that was about. All right, so anything else, Catherine? I have one of the kitties that are whining outside in pain, and usually that feels like Spirit telling us how she's been whining and crying and aching. 8 of coins. That was the darkness at work, a masterful plan. Things that she has worked so hard for over the years, to create the pentacle in each of them, the masterpiece in each of them, the uniqueness of the event. She worked hard at the event, or created this event and put it together. So this was her piece of art. This was important for her. And this is the 8th year. She says the 8th year. Well, as in a number 8 year, 2024 is the 8th year of the pentacle of her energy. She's not part of this now. She doesn't feel part of it. But it takes her back to think about it, to reminisce on it. Queen of Swords. Right, her direct opinion. She doesn't feel happy about what's happening. There's no truth in it anymore, she says. There's really no truth in this event anymore. That's what she's saying. She's not feeling the joy of it. Well, of course she wouldn't be. In closing, Catherine, what would you like to say? Spirit of Catherine, Soul of Catherine. King of Swords. Right, I told you there was something about this. She's not part of the equation. There's a truth about a relationship that's different. There's a truth about a relationship that's different. That's not her. It's not the love relationship with her and William. Queen of Cups at the bottom. This is Diana. This is Diana. We'll bring it out. So what's happening with that lovers? Tell us. Who's the lovers about? All right, so what she's saying is that this particular relationship that you have seen, the relationship that you saw, her and William, the children, that does not exist. The truth needs to be told. That's where she is. Right, it's over. It's done. She's not part of it. So what she was pointing out, that wasn't what you actually saw as being love between them as a family or a couple, between her and William. Allegedly, this is what Spirit is saying. This is what she's projecting. Right? That's not the brutal truth. That's not the real truth. That's not genuine. That is genuine. This is genuine. All right. Let's leave it here. I had a gulp in my throat and I had shed a few tears before I began the reading, and I promised that I would try and hold my composure through the reading. It is difficult for us all. And for those that know the truth, for those that feel the truth and understand it, this is what is being said. Let us continue to pray and hold the light for the children so they mature and grow with sanity and clarity. And we pray one day that they would be strong enough to bring through the judgment, the justice, the truth, and breakthrough that is needed. And with that, I love you, I thank you, I bless you. Till next.